A few months ago, I predicted in my 2030 legacy prediction video that BYD would surpass every legacy automaker in the world by 2030 except for Volkswagen, and potentially sell the same number of EVs in 2030 as the entire Volkswagen group combined. Well, BYD sales numbers were just released today, and they sold more electric cars than Toyota, General Motors, Ford, Honda, Mitsubishi, and Nissan combined in January. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you here from Melbourne, Australia. Great to have you here on the channel, you new subscribers. We have created, I would say, 800 videos over the last 6 months. Make sure you check some of those videos out. There's a lot of information there that could help influence your investment decisions, your purchasing decisions, just help educate you as to what is really going on in the world of autos, in the world of cars, in the world of electric cars, in the world of transportation, batteries, all that kind of stuff. I want to say a big shout out to our Patreon supporters. Thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate what you do. It makes a huge difference to having the channel be what it is and be able to make 6 or 7 videos per day, which is a lot of work. I'll put a link in the description below to our Patreon account if you want to support us this year. That would be fantastic. Also, if you want to invest in BYD or any other companies that are over-the-counter shares, Tencent, Grayscale, Bitcoin, whatever, you can do that through the Stake app. I use the Stake app. I only invest using the Stake app because you can invest in Australian shares, US shares, some European shares, and over-the-counter shares with basically no cost, no fees at all. So if you want to do that, if you want to jump on Stake, you might as well. Save you some money, and it's a good way to have all your investment, all your portfolio in the one place. That's what I do. I find it really easy, and it's really takes something complex and simplifies it. I'll put a link in the description below to our Stake code. If you use that code when you create your Stake account, you'll get a free stock, and it'll just get you started. And really, sometimes all you need to get started on your investment journey is a little nudge, a little push. A lot of my friends have not really understood how to invest in the share market, but with Stake, it's really, really simple. And it's a good way to get you started. What I do is I actually force myself to withdraw a certain percentage of my income every single month, and then I just have to live on what's left. So it forces me to invest something anyway and get me started and get me sort of thinking, you know what, I'm not investing for the next year, that's gambling. I'm investing for the next 10 years. I'm going to keep putting in a bit every single month, and in 10 years time, you know, hopefully I'll be in a position where I can show you guys, here it is, here are the numbers, and here's what I've done. I'll have a video soon on my stock portfolio, everything that I own, why I own those shares. There's about 15 different shares in there, and there's some ETFs as well, which are based on, well, I'll tell you what they're based on when I make that video. BYD, last year, they transitioned from being 50% petrol and gas car company to being about 90%. But that transformation has almost completely finished now. In January, only 2% of the cars they sold were gas powered. The rest, 98%, were either fully electric or plug-in hybrid. That means that BYD sold 93,200 new energy vehicles in January. That's an increase of 362% year on year. And it is just a dramatic transformation of this company. BYD have gone from being a company that really was struggling for a few years. Their sales were up and down. Revenue was not really doing that well. And then they just started to say, you know what? The market is going one way. We're not going to sit on the fence. We're not going to do what Legacy Auto are doing. We're not going to keep hedging our bets. We're not going to say we've got a plan B. You've got a plan. If plan A doesn't work, well, we'll take plan B because you never know. We're not going to do what Toyota is doing. We're going to go all in. BYD just went all in, and it's paid off for them in a very, very, very big way. BYD sold 46,400 electric vehicles in January. That's an increase of 221% from 14,463 units a year earlier. So last January, they sold 14,463 electric cars. This January, 46,386. More than 95% of those were in China alone. Remember, BYD is planning on selling their electric cars globally this year, and they plan on selling 1.2 million electric cars this year as well. That would put them more than likely in second place behind Tesla globally as the world's second largest electric vehicle manufacturer. Can they do that? Of course they can. Their run rate will easily allow them to hit 1.2 million this year. In fact, I think there's a good chance they'll hit about 1.4 million based on the fact that January is the second slowest month of the year in China every year, has been for the 20 years, 20 straight years. And yet they're on a run rate to already hit 1.2 million based on January's numbers. That's crazy. Realistically likely, they'll probably hit more like 1.5 million this year. In addition to the 46,400 electric cars they sold 46,540 plug-in hybrids in January. Those plug-in hybrids have an average purely electric range of about 90 kilometers. So they're pretty good just on electric. That was an increase of 761% from 5,400 units 1 year earlier. 761%. Realistically, BYD basically owns the entire plug-in hybrid market in China. The reason being, realistically, Chinese buyers don't buy plug-in hybrids. Of all new energy vehicles sold in China, nearly 90% are purely electric. The key reason for that, the price of electric cars in China is on par with gas vehicles and on par with plug-in hybrids. So most people choose electric only. How many gas-powered vehicles did BYD sell in January? They sold 2,254. I'm guessing that's just inventory that's been sitting around doing nothing for the last few months. I suspect more than likely BYD has written off its gas production lines and isn't currently running them at all. Why would you when only 2% of your vehicle sales are gas? You wouldn't. You just stop running them. It'd be a waste of money. It'd be like having all these employees doing something that's losing you money. So the good thing to note here is that BYD have just transformed their company to the point where they're now ready for their future entirely. Why are they ready for the future entirely? Because, this isn't everything, is it? Well, everything is having the battery supply, having the battery supply, having the battery supply. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Legacy Auto cannot transform their companies overnight, as Toyota has admitted by the fact they're getting BYD to build their electric cars for them and another Chinese company as well. I mean, if they did have the battery supply and they were able to just magically build all these electric cars overnight, then why would they not do it themselves? They're not doing it themselves. How many times do I have to repeat this to you Toyota-loving people and to you people who love Legacy Auto? It isn't easy. It's hard to do. Those sales, 2,254 gas-powered vehicles, that's a decrease of 90% year on year. They sold 22,223 gas-powered vehicles last January. So I think I'm correct here in saying that their gas production lines, their petrol-powered vehicle production lines have been mothballed. They're extinct, as will the gas vehicle be within, I think, 7 or 8 years. The really interesting thing here to see is production numbers. Production numbers right now do matter. BYD produced only 22,400 electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids last January. And 22,400. This January, 93,000. That's a massive difference. So how many batteries did BYD actually install in their vehicles during the month of January? The total was 5 gigawatt hours. That means they're on track to probably deploy about 70 gigawatt hours of batteries in their vehicles this year. In addition to that, word is they also have a 10 gigawatt hour contract to supply Tesla, and they currently supply Ford for their Mustang Mach-E battery packs in China. As well as that, they also have a contract with Toyota to basically build the entire skateboard, maybe the entire car. We don't know yet. Could potentially be the entire car. But anyway, interesting to see how BYD is really starting to get these big contracts with some of the most important companies in the world. What about the bad news? There is a slight little bit of bad news here for BYD. BYD, as has much of the auto market done, just increased its prices. For its Dynasty and Ocean series new energy vehicles, it increased prices by 1,000 RMB, which is $158. So not very much of a price increase. I've heard of price increases on average across the industry here in Australia by $4,000. So that's $4,000, by the way. So why have they increased their prices by $158 per car? They said it was due to a significant increase in raw material prices and the withdrawal of subsidies for new energy vehicle purchases by 30. Well, the decrease was actually only 30%. What I find really interesting here, though, is sales of the BYD Dolphin. By the way, I'll put some links in the description below to the videos I've made about the BYD Dolphin. I believe it will be one of the top 5 selling automobiles, full stop, globally by 2025. Top 5 in the world. Top 5. I'm going to just say that again and again and again, just so you remember that. In 2025, when that year comes, It'll be very interesting. Maybe I can reference this video and say, hey, remember then when I said that? Yep, well, we'll have a look. BYD, they just started ramping up the sales of this brand new model in September. In January, they sold 10,600 of these electric hatchbacks. The cost of these electric hatchbacks, the base price is $14,000 US. I'm intrigued. Would you buy an electric hatchback the size of a Toyota Corolla for $14,000 US? I want to know in the comment section below, would you actually consider that? If it had 400 kilometers of range, probably 300 kilometers real world range for these BYD EA1 Dolphin vehicles. If you're not sure, you're wondering, oh, would I, wouldn't I? I'll put a link in the description. Check the video out of the Dolphin. You can have a look at it. Interesting. It's smaller than a Toyota Corolla on the outside, but bigger on the inside. Very practical shaped and sized vehicle. One of the other most popular vehicles that BYD sell is the Han. And interestingly, I just had a video come out yesterday of the BYD Han. They have now an extended range version. They haven't actually increased the size of the battery pack, but the energy density of the battery pack has increased. Now it comes with an 85 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery pack and 715 kilometers of range in their sedan. It's a similar size to, a little bit bigger than sort of a similar size, I'd say, to a Tesla Model S, maybe a little bit smaller than a Tesla Model S. So the BYD Han sold 12,780 electric vehicles. That's an increase of only 6% year on year. However, I think with their latest model, they've updated some of the interior features. They've updated the specs, as you can see, with the battery being improved, and they've updated the exterior a bit. I think with these updates, we're going to see a significant increase in the BYD Han sales. More importantly than those two cars, though, is the BYD Yen Plus, which will be coming out this year. That's going to be their global car. It's a small to mid-size electric SUV. The word is price will be around about $34,000 US. I'm not too sure on that, but that's the word that I'm hearing. $34,000 US for a small to mid-size SUV with a lithium iron phosphate Blade battery pack. That's going to be a game changer for BYD. Now, I bought BYD stock within the last 7 days. If you got some spare cash, I recommend you do the same. But hey, I'm not a financial analyst. I can't give you legal financial advice, but I can say my portfolio has done pretty damn well over the last 12 months. So there's that. Now let me know in the comment section below if you're considering a BYD or if you would buy the EA1 Dolphin hatchback for $14,000 US. I definitely would consider it. Have a great day and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.